You know, some friends said yesterday, oh, you could have taught a lesson about change and movement and all that.
G'day, you cheeky dogs. Today we're going to talk about why people hated the episode The Sign from Bluey, which is not a video I thought I was going to be making. But Joe Brumm, the creator of Bluey, did actually have a response to this, so I did want to talk about it.
Don't tell me how to feel. Whoa. Sweetheart, this.
Now, I personally loved the episode. I cried, I thought it was beautiful and heartwarming and filled with happy endings. However, a lot of people hated this episode. They found it unrealistic, it's caused problems with their own family and their kids. And a lot of these families are ones that are currently moving or selling their house, or are defense families that move a lot. And so, of course, they were very excited that Bluey and Bingo were also moving, and it was something that they could show their kids to be like, hey, look, they're going on a big adventure, we're going on a big adventure, it's gonna be like the same thing. And then obviously it wasn't, which of course left a lot of parents in an awkward situation of trying to explain to their kids that, you know, Bluey and Bingo are not reality and what we're doing is reality. And yeah, it would have left them with a lot of hard discussions, and I can completely understand that.
We sold the house, remember?
So?
Bingo, you know that when you sell your house you have to move out of it, right?
What?
You didn't know that?
No.
And I feel like there's a part of it that's almost at fault with Bluey a little bit, because Bluey has set up the expectation that it is going to show us the realities of parenting with children. Like, it's shown us the realities of dealing with death. It's shown us the realities of dealing with fertility problems, the realities of aging with our parents, the realities of what it's like to become a first-time parent with even possible postpartum depression, as well as what anxiety and trauma can look like in children as well, and ways to deal with it. So yeah, even though Bluey is a cartoon, it did kind of set up that expectation that it would mirror reality a lot, or at least mirror the issues that we go through a lot of the times in reality. But of course, The Sign was not that type of episode at all. It was very much a fairy tale episode, and sadly that angered some fans.
We'll see, said the farmer.
So what was the creator and writer Joe Brumm's explanation for this sort of happy ending? Like, why were the sheepdogs able to pull out of the contract? Why is it that they packed everything up and then didn't have to leave with any repercussions? And why was Brandy pregnant when the whole episode onesies sort of delved into the idea of infertility? So Joe Brumm did a really fantastic podcast with the Gotta Be Done ladies, Mary and Kate, and it was an hour long, a big deep dive into The Sign. And he talked a lot about why he made this episode this sort of more fairy tale style rather than realistic style. And a lot of it was to remind us that Bluey is not real life, that at the end of the day, it is still a story and a cartoon.
Probably the best bit of advice I got, which was from he was a short story writer. Anyway, he said, when you're, you know, writers and stuff, when you're in your 20s, you first come out of uni, you sort of reject the kind of sappy, happy endings, right? And you want to go for the really gritty, like life never works out, and you want to write these sad, tragic endings. And he said it's quite a, you know, it's sort of a young, naive thing to do. And the reason he says is what the episode says, which is, you know, people's lives have enough sad endings, you know, like we die at the end. In his view, the role of art and stories was to be one of the rare places where we can go and it all work out and we get rejuvenated a bit and we get a bit of hope. Of course, The Sign itself is a story, and the whole thing is meant to remind you this isn't real life, it's a story.
And it turns out that the advice that Joe Brumm got is sort of like what he ended up using with Calypso in this episode to talk about the fact that we should be looking at these shows as stories and not real life.
Ooh.
Yes, Bluey?
Why do stories always have happy endings?
Well, I guess because life will give us enough sad ones.
I do think it's really fantastic how Joe Brumm does talk about the fact that the house is basically like a fifth character in the Healer family. Like, we've all grown to love it and enjoy being around it, but he also wants to remind us that as adults, we should know that Bluey is not real life and that we'll have fairy tale endings.
Leaving the house, given how much of a character, I guess, the house and Queensland in general is in the show, it always struck me how much just the physical makeup of the house influences the sorts of games you would play. Yeah, it almost felt like you were killing a character, I guess. And so it just felt right, you know, an ending this season to works out for everyone. Brandy gets pregnant, you know, the marriage works, the kids get what they want. It's ridiculously happy because it's a story. We all know. The adults watching it know it never is that neat a line, but
And he did bring up something that I thought was kind of really beautiful. Like, he talked about the fact that he did move a lot as a kid, and he wanted Bluey to be almost like the stability for kids who are moving. Like, even though they might be moving house, they always know where Bluey and Bingo are going to be. They're always going to be at the healer house.
They have to stay in that house because 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds, they've got to know whenever they want the healers, they're always in that house. Whenever they want it, they need to go back and visit the kids, they're always going to be in that house.
And I do think that's a really lovely sentiment, but I think it did get lost, sadly, in the episode because it is 28 minutes long, and we have been conditioned to watch Bluey in 7-minute segments. So yeah, usually when there's like one theme of the story, like we hear it at the start of the episode and then we see it come to fruition by the end. Within 7 minutes, like that's a short attention span kind of time. But within 28 minutes, I feel like a lot of people missed the Calypso line or just completely forgot about it. And yeah, we knew the story the farmer was there with the whole like, we'll see what's going to happen. Like bad luck can turn into good luck, bad luck, good luck. But I think again that might have gotten a bit muddled because people could have seen that as, yeah, them selling the house and going on a big adventure. That might seem bad at the time, but it could be good in the future. It was almost like it was like combating each other, Calypso's words about how real life does have already too many sad endings, and then like the theme of the farmer.
Why do stories always have happy endings?
Well, I guess because life will give us enough sad ones.
I wish I could tell you which one it was going to be, but I don't know.
Hey, it's all black!
I guess we'll see.
We'll see.
But Joe Brumm did actually make a response to a friend who did sort of call him out about the fact that he didn't go through with the whole idea of like moving houses and if it was a bit of a cop-out, and this is what he said.
Some friends said yesterday, oh, you could have taught a lesson about change and movement and all that. And that's for a different episode. This has to be Bluey's happy ending.
Also, had those friends heard of Bluey's World opening in Brisbane in August? Because it feels like the house is going to be fairly central to that as well.
So I do think that's really interesting that he said like he will in the future do an episode about change, but he just didn't want it to be the sign. And I do love all the different happy endings that he gave everyone because yeah, in reality, sometimes it doesn't work out that smoothly. But, cheeky dogs, let me know in that comment section down below, what did you think of the ending for The Sign? How did you feel about all the happy endings? Did you miss the part with Calypso as like sort of foretelling what was going to happen in this episode? How did you feel about it? How did your families feel about it? Let me know everything in that comment section down below. While you're down there as well, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and that bell for notifications so you know whenever I release any other Bluey themed videos. But until then, cheeky dogs, I have picked you out a few other videos that maybe you'd like to watch, and I'll see you all in another video. Mwah! Bye!